Welcome to Story Stream channel. Our story about Oscar and the Lesson of Privacy. In the heart of the lush forest, where the branches intertwined and the birds sang, there lived a small monkey named Oscar. Oscar was cheerful and energetic, jumping from tree to tree. But he was also very curious, eager to know everything about his friends, even if it meant prying into their secrets. One day, while Oscar was swinging on the tree branches, he saw the squirrel Sammy carrying a small wooden box in his claws, searching for a place to hide it. Sammy chose an old tree trunk and carefully placed the box inside it, making sure no one was around before looking around. But Oscar was watching from a distance, and his curiosity sparked to know what Sammy was hiding. He waited until the squirrel moved away, then sneaked toward the trunk and pulled out the box. He opened it cautiously and found an old letter and a photo of Sammy with his mother. The next day, the animals gathered by the pond, and Oscar shouted excitedly,
"Did you know that Sammy is hiding a secret letter and an old photo?"
Sammy's face turned red with embarrassment, and he said in a sad voice,
"This is a letter from my mother when I was young, and it's something personal to me. Why did you tell everyone about it without asking me?"
Oscar hesitated a bit, but he still didn't fully realize the seriousness of his actions. The following day, while walking through the forest, Oscar saw his friend the bear, Baloo, sitting under a big tree, holding a small notebook and writing passionately in it. Baloo was so focused that he didn't notice Oscar hiding among the branches, observing him. When Oscar got closer, he saw that Baloo was writing poems. He couldn't resist the urge to know more, so he moved closer until he could read some of the lines. The next day, during the gathering of animals, Oscar said loudly,
"Did you know that Baloo writes poetry? He has a notebook full of poems."
The animals stared in surprise at Baloo and began asking him to read some of his poems. Baloo blushed and hid his notebook behind his back, saying,
"These are my personal writings. I wasn't ready to share them yet."
Oscar felt a bit of regret, but still didn't fully understand why his friends were upset. 2 days later, Oscar was playing near the river when he saw his friend the hedgehog Sparkle, carefully gathering leaves from the trees and placing them in a small pile inside a hole between the rocks. This aroused Oscar's curiosity, so he decided to watch closely. When Sparkle left the area, Oscar approached the hole and began searching through the leaves. Suddenly, he found a collection of beautiful drawings of forest animals. Sparkle's drawings were amazing, so Oscar took some of them and went to show the other animals. Oscar said happily,
"Look at these wonderful drawings. Sparkle is a talented artist."
But when Sparkle saw this, he felt extremely embarrassed and said in a low voice,
"I was drawing just for myself. I wasn't ready to share my drawings yet."
Oscar began to realize that his behavior had disturbed his friends once again. After a few days, Oscar decided to surprise his friends. He gathered some fresh berries and made delicious pies to present to them at a small party. He wanted it to be a secret until the last moment to be a fun surprise for everyone. But little did he know, the fox Timo was watching him. When Oscar finished preparing the pies and hid them behind the trees, Timo rushed to tell everyone. When Oscar returned, he found that all the animals had eaten the pies before he could present them himself. Oscar felt sad and said,
"I wanted to surprise you. This was my secret. Why didn't you wait until I told you?"
Sammy the squirrel smiled kindly and said,
"Do you see, Oscar? Each of us has our own special things that we don't want to share until the right time, just like you wanted to keep the pies a secret."
Oscar understood his mistake and said,
"Now I get it. Privacy means that each of us has our own secrets, and no one has the right to discover or share them without permission.
From that day on, Oscar became more respectful of his friends' privacy and began asking them before talking about their personal matters. The animals of the forest lived in harmony and happiness, and everyone learned that respect makes friendships stronger. The end. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.